Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. Sorry if I blew your ears out there. Volume's a little loud. What is up, Michelle? It's Tuesday. Feeling great?
Is it? Is that
Thank
God I have you to tell me what day it is today.
Dude, it is. It's like all the days start running together, and it's quite strange.
It's a blur.
Something I thought everybody should be aware of that I had noticed a little bit of, and I guess probably the more grounded you are, the more you realize it's not coming from you. But you can feel a lot of anxiety just amongst the collective. And I realized that it was one of Merkaba Carpet YouTube channel, one of his last videos, Tony, he was talking about how he's doing what he always does. He's in his van, he's traveling around, things haven't really changed for him, but he's feeling it, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been feeling it too, and I'm excited, but I've been feeling the anxiety of people getting a little stir crazy and stuff like that. So I just wanted to point that out because other people might be feeling it and taking it on as their own energy right now. Yeah. And I think it's important that you just having that awareness that it's not yours helps you sort of transmute it and realize, oh, this is coming to me to transmute it, you know?
Yeah, and I think it can come through to us in dreams too, to transmute as well. And picking that up from the collective and then transmuting that through dreams too.
Because that's kind of like what you and your mom's dreams were. It was like things were closing in, and is that a feeling of the collective? Yeah, and
then
walls
talking. I believe so. Yeah, being boxed in, and then Travis, he shared that he had a very similar, like a lot of the same analogies, that same panic feeling through a dream sequence as well, where he was told it was like a test. Don't you fail? And he failed the test the first time, had to redo it the same night, and then got through it the second time, which I see happens with dreams too. They really are practicing grounds, like a safer place to do these things than having to experience them in the physical reality. And but I definitely think he had the whole same theme of being sort of boxed in or constricted, restricted, and sort of the suffocating panic, fear of pain, not of transition per se, not of death or transition, but of just that animalist the part of being that just comes up, right. That you don't want. How can you get out of this situation when you're literally trapped and feel the squeeze of impending pain, and you're like, you don't want to do it. So I think that it's interesting, that same kind of theme coming up again, and I do think that's part of how we how process that for the collective is working through the dreams.
Yeah, it says let's see, Sarah is talking about the same thing. It took her about 30 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think, it's been coming to me more and more how much things are getting pushed so hard at this point that you can focus on those things and feel like, are they something to worry about? Or you can realize that they're actually pushing some of these things so hard that it's waking people up. People are like, wait, you're trying to do what to me? You're talking about what? And then, so people have time to look at these things. Things are trending around. I wouldn't get too caught up in. For many of us, they're just distractions, you know what I mean? They're really just wake-up calls for, everybody that's stuck at home right now. So don't get too caught up in all the chaos and the drama, because they are all stepping stones to something bigger, this collective, this consensus shift in reality to 5D that was talked about in that super consciousness thing. It was
Yes.
like it needs to become a consensus reality, and that's what this is doing. So people have to have their steps, you know what I mean? And for a lot of
Mm.
them, it's these things that they're pushing right now are going to just wake people up in mass, you know? And it's
Well, if I look
beautiful.
at if I look at the trauma from my own life that was experienced in order to shake my thought process so fundamentally,
Yeah.
and what I had to go through that experience, um, it was traumatic,
It is.
and it is. But I don't live in trauma every single day of my life anymore, which was like really the state of being that people don't even realize that they live in, like being imprisoned within their own mind, within their own thoughts, their ego, or the belief systems, so many things, habits, stories. And it really takes some often fundamental things being removed from your life to shift that. So we're just seeing everybody kind of experience that in their own unique way. We all experience it in our own unique way. Not all of us have to experience trauma, fortunately, but I think so many of us have. Or you can see, it's not that I don't look back at it as trauma now, but it was traumatic at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
you know, now
Yeah.
now I see it's a catalyst. It was what was necessary in order to happen. And so I don't look at it. There's just such a polarity of opinion, which can be really exhausting right now. So I find just such just keep trying to back out of the room. Not engage. Not engage in the back and forth. Because it seems like no matter what viewpoint people are coming from, they're just so adamant in fighting for that viewpoint right now. That's a really tiring thing to hold all the time.
And it's
Yeah.
really, excuse me, for me, it's been a huge learning experience. I sort of feel like, when you show up at a fair or some type of event when there's all these little things going on and you're just kind of the observer, you're like, oh, okay, they're selling some things over here, funnel cakes maybe, and oh, over here you can throw darts and try to hit the balloons, and there's just this variety of stuff, and in
Mm-hmm.
many ways, like you don't have to take part in any of it. You can just kind of walk through and see what's going on, and I feel a lot like that nowadays. I'm like, wow, so and it's kind of cool because a lot of the things like line up, evidence to support one thing is perfectly fitting something else. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting times because,
Yes.
you can get sucked into any one of these and they seem extremely plausible. But on this higher level, you can see it all working together for this overall awakening. You know,
Yes. Yeah. You
it's
just keep
really neat.
stepping back. Just keep stepping back in perspective, and mm-hmm. It is like a circus, like you said, a fair. It's like a circus right now. Yeah, and it's like, do you want to ride the ponies?
Right.
Yeah. Or knowing the games are rigged but playing them anyways.
And it's interesting to see different
Yeah.
people posting things on Facebook that you're like, oh, wow, it's if you're like me and you don't really get on Facebook too much, it's interesting to take a moment and go on there and see who's posting what, because it's like, wow, this person's posting this, and that totally.
It's such a polarity I'm seeing. I think that's what amazes me. I took a real break from Facebook too, Shane. And it's just been since this sort of quarantine thing, I've been curious to see what everybody's saying while they're stuck at home. So I've been looking at it again, but I literally never looked at it for months.
I bet a lot of
So
people are starting to look at Facebook now that don't normally do.
yeah, it's interesting to kind of go back there. But that's just it's such a range of opinions that are so strongly held.
Yeah.
And it's tiring observing it, Ethan. You really, yeah. But people are passionate about what's going on, and they're passionate about what they feel, and they're so. I mean, that's good too.
And that's what I'm saying. Whether they, even the
Yeah.
stuff that's not so much grounded in anything that's truth to me, I can see where it's working to move somebody towards just out of the status quo of just working and not paying attention to any of that. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's all working together for good. It's making
Yeah.
people passionate about things. You know,
Yeah.
it's that
It's like what
momentum.
angle they're coming from. I guess I'd say, even though some of these opinions can seem so polarized,
Yeah.
they're coming from different angles. But at the end of the day, could that triangulate to the same destination anyways, that heading on the path? So even though it seems like they're sort of at odds or in opposite corners, are those are the paths that they're walking on eventually leading on an angle to triangulate at the same point anyways?
That's funny you say that because it was, that takes me back to what I saw with the cogs, the wheels, and
Yeah,
and it's like you can look at this wheel and it's turning this way, and you can look at this wheel and it's turning this way. But when you really look at it, you're like, oh, it's all working together. It's really,
that's
even though
right.
these seem like they're turning opposite ways, you can see the overall movement is something of momentum, and it's that momentum that's making the difference right now. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like
right. That's
it's
right.
so
Yeah,
so
that's a great way
really,
to put it.
I wouldn't stress too much if somebody seems to be going down the wrong rabbit hole. That rabbit hole is going to lead somewhere else. Don't get too stressed.
Yeah,
It's
because then you're
momentum.
you're not looking at all the other cogs and
Yeah,
coils and pieces,
yeah,
right? That end up doing that. I think that's a
yeah,
really great way to look at it, Shane, and just see it as a clock piece right now, and it really is, yeah, how it's working. But the fact is, those wheels are turning, no matter
exactly.
what direction it appears that they're turning, and though they may be turning in opposite directions, the goal itself is moving towards us,
Yeah,
no matter how polarized it seems right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exciting times.
it
Hey, you guys,
is.
chime in with your any kind of symptoms you guys have been experiencing. My sleep
Yeah, how's
schedule.
everybody feeling? Yeah.
I've had some dizzy spells, a few, not
Yes.
too serious,
Yes.
but a few just kind of
Yeah.
hit me out. And I'm like, do we have a shift? What's going on there? And then just for a second, just sort of
Yeah.
just get your attention, sort of a dizzy feeling. Really dreamy. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
the dreamy. Been meditating a lot though too, so.
Yeah.
But
Which is
sleep
good.
schedule is really jacked up. Like I was telling you, like I sent you
Yeah.
something at like 4 in the morning, and you're about to go to bed, and I just actually woke up for a change. And then I went back to bed. I don't know, a few hours later, and then you were getting up. I think I went back at 9, and then you were getting up around that time. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So it's like we're probably playing like tag team on the other side, like I don't know,
Exactly.
fighting a
I
battle or
got this
something.
dream session. You got the next one.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's I go with it. Like, I know when my body starts to go, okay, time to tune out
Right.
and take a break, get the rest. I feel like I'm doing so much work in dream time. I feel that. So I enjoy doing it. Yeah. And just keep doing it. I don't know. It's I feel like the last week just disappeared. I know we talk about time going by more quickly and quickly, but um and I'm sure a lot of people, now that they're staying home, are really feeling that blur of days as well. But I feel like this month of April, I just lost a week
Uh
for
huh.
sure. I don't know how it is the date. That's really weird.
Yeah,
It's
I've
like it was the
definitely
10th, and then
been.
all of a sudden it was the 20th. And
And see, for me, it was like I don't know. It was like I planned on doing the show on Easter and all of this, and it was like it ended up just it was on top of me before I realized it, and I was like, man, it was like I thought I had a week or two before Easter, and now it's already here, and then it was. So I've had some weird stuff like that happening. I wanted to go to the chat before I lose it here. Headaches all last week. Love light energetics.
a lot of crown pressure.
Rash, itchy, itchy skin
Mm.
up spine. Okay, I've definitely had to, yeah, having to scratch my back a lot, and I don't normally have to do that. It's funny that it's just like a lot of this stuff I wouldn't even notice until somebody else says it. I'm like, oh yeah, because I'll stand at like the corner and kind of like, and I
I've
don't
been
normally have to
getting
do it.
itching on the
Palms.
palms and the bottoms of the feet.
Wow, I think I've had that before. I don't have it right now though.
Yeah, they get tingly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shiny
and
saying
also
time has flown by
the
too.
crown. Yeah, tingling on the crown again, really kicked in.
Okay, so Love Light Energetics is saying random hot flashes, and yes, itchy. So the random hot flashes, I had a few of those last week with the dizzy,
Mm-hmm.
like in between that, because I remember thinking, oh my gosh, am I getting a, I had that one little spout of fear about the whole thing going around. You know what I mean? I was like, wait, am I getting a fever? But I was like, I'm not sick. What am I playing
Oh
along?
yeah.
You got to play along for a second here and there. You know what I mean?
See, that's when you recognize it's just a record player that's kicking in.
Yeah,
Like,
anybody,
that's not
we're
even
all
you
susceptible to getting
that
right.
says that. That's
Right.
not even, it's just like that track in your head that got implanted there. Better worry.
Louise is saying, "Yep, all of the above." Isn't that strange? Because a
Hmm.
lot of these things, I've definitely had the headache. You were saying the crown pressure. I know I've heard other people talk about the crown pressure. I'm
Oh
getting it
yeah.
now. Matter of fact,
A lot
it's
of
almost like
tingling along the side now.
it's kind of funny
This is
how the third eye has a pull this way towards your brow, and the crown one
yep.
has a pull upward. It feels. Is that how
Yeah.
it is for you too? Is it more of
Yeah.
an upward?
This feels like up a pull in. No, so I don't, sometimes I feel it gum and sometimes I feel it coming in.
Right,
I
I
have to
feel it
say,
coming in, but when I feel the pressure of a pull, it feels like it's actually pulling outward, I guess, or maybe expanding outward would be the
yeah, all of it, all of
pushing
this.
outward. Yeah,
And all the way around back here goes around to the
yeah.
back. Yeah. And the tingling.
And
Mm-hmm.
some of the vocal things I've been doing to try to like activate my third eye, like humming
Yeah.
and doing like different sounds because there's videos about it if you don't know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to demonstrate. But
Totally.
yeah, it can get you really, really dizzy. It's really weird the way it's like
It's the breathing
it's and it
exercises
like pulls
too.
you into the theta state. Yeah, and then you're breathing much deeper and bringing in much more oxygen and then vibrating
Right.
it, and so.
Yeah. I noticed I tone in my sleep, but I think a lot of people call it snoring. But I do. I notice I wake up and I'm like like this vibration in my throat. And I'm like, oh, it's just me snoring.
I actually, I thought you were going to talk about when you actually your voice engages and you like hum because I do that. Do you ever do that?
Yes.
And you wake yourself up because it's like your vocal cords turned on. It's like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, I
Start
have
going
noticed
crazy.
that. I've
Yeah,
done that a couple times.
it's funny.
Mm-hmm. What, Zoe? Behave yourself. It's not time yet. We just started.
Luis is talking. Let's see. Yeah, with crazy allergy symptoms. I'm glad you brought that up because my grandson, he was running around sneezing everywhere and coughing everywhere, and everybody's like, "Cover your mouth! You're gonna give us the blah blah blah," and, afraid or whatever. But it was
Poor kid.
allergy. It was allergy. Everybody's like, "Quarantine! Lock him in the room." It's so it's so funny how people are fearful. I'm like, dude, if he's got it,
Imagine
it's
from a
too
kid's
late.
perspective, put yourself back at being that age again and watching adults act like that. Wouldn't you be like, like, what is going on? I could just imagine. I like to do that sometimes. Remember what it was like to be a kid and how you viewed adults and the way they talked to you or the things that they said and how they said them and sort of put that in perspective now. It's really quite entertaining. I don't know. I can imagine sometimes seeing, yeah,
I've had a few pictures
seeing
shown to
people.
me where I don't know moms going out with their kids and they're covered with I don't know just a bunch of Halloween costumes and stuff just to try to I don't know ready dressed for battle just with
Oh,
whatever they could
did
grab
you
around the house
so
you know
would put on the Buzz Lightyear helmet?
And then, of course, we showed a picture with feminine products being used. I guess people are really desperate to just have their air filtered out. It's been really comical, though. I mean, I have to admit, because once you begin to see this all like playing out in
Yeah.
this wonderful, I don't know, theatrical experience, you begin to,
Theatrical kaleidoscope.
yeah, you get to enjoy that stuff a little bit more instead of,
Yeah.
you
We
know,
gotta find the
either,
humor in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's exciting, you know.
It's pretty funny.
Ringing in the ears. I've had
Yes.
a few of those,
Time.
and the ones where, excuse me, where you hear your ears shift, but there's no ringing. I don't know. It just kind of changes.
It's
But
like the
it's,
pressure changes.
I guess,
Feels like a
just,
pressure change. Been getting clicking as well.
yeah.
Both ears now, which I think is interesting. Seems to have gone to both ears. And this flutter comes back. It's not as like annoying pronounced. It's really interesting. I feel like I kind of go through this like adjustment period of when the energy comes in, this new
Are you
level
talking about the
of
movement under the
frequency
skin
comes
feeling?
in. Yeah, or nice the surface of the skin, even it just the nerves all connect and it just vibrates. And I really notice that when I start to sort of tune into the internal guidance and almost like visually channeling pictures or messages and such, it starts to vibrate. It's not as like distracting. It's like I feel like the body sort of adjusts. At first when it comes in, it's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do with this? So my face is like twitching like crazy, like trying to adjust, getting used to it. And then it sort of processes and acclimates, but the vibration is still there. It's still present. And then I felt it again, like the next dose that came in, it seemed to really activate this, like further along this area, now along here,
Right.
and felt more stimulations and twitching and, maybe more tightening in the neck, all different of those bottlenecks or symptoms or muscle jumping spasms, different things as the body kind of gets used to this, again, new level of frequency. So, and then now I'm finding the stimulation is, circling around to the back, increased tingling sensations with that. So
What about
it
in
just
the
seems,
ear? Because let's see, Maria is saying anybody feeling like a bug is crawling deep in your ears, one ear at a
oh
time.
gosh, I
Shifts
get
where
that.
I get that too, but I think it's better not to picture it as a bug. That just, it just gets itchy. Let's
No,
just
it
say it just kind of gets
just gets
itchy.
itchy. Yeah. It
And
gets stimulated. I'll get it sometimes and I'm like, I'm
right, right.
like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder if that's from wearing earbuds a lot or something. But
Could
do you
be.
wear earbuds a lot, Maria? Who knows? Let's see. Ringing in both ears.
Does anybody notice vibration with their vision? And I know we like the ringing in the ears. Is anybody feeling this like vibration in their face? Like where you feel like it almost affects the vision a little bit? I noticed it's definitely stronger like when I wake up. When I come out of dream state or deep meditative state or whatever, it's like everything's fuzzy, almost vibrating. The picture is vibrating. It's different. I'm seeing a lot more of those little sparks and flashes too lately,
Yeah,
especially when the Schumann picked up again, like all
yeah.
the time, just coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, I've
Mm-hmm.
been even the other day. I was early morning. I was watching the sunrise. The moon came up right before the sun, and I'm like looking at it, and I kept seeing these like little points of light like flashing, And the second I look over here, one would pop over here, and clearly something was toying with me, right?
Right,
Because I was
right,
like, I know I saw, and it just went on for a while. I don't know if it was fairies or angels. I don't know what the heck it was, but something was
right,
messing with me.
right. Yeah.
It was cool though. It was cool. I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of chuckled and kept trying to see it and just kept missing it and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
can't tell you if it was third eye or actual eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So weird stuff happening. Any other dreams though since last week? Being captured?
No, nothing like strong like last week. A little bit more fun again. Just kind of adventuring, really. So, um Nothing stands out too much in particular. Not like it did. When you get these really strong dreams, or they're so real and they're so clear, it's a different level of something. So the rest is just normal stuff. Yeah,
That's
normal
weird.
processing.
So back in, I don't know, oh 07, oh 06, oh 07, oh 08, somewhere in there, I worked for this guy doing like construction and stuff like that, and he was eccentric and kind of like angry, and he was really, hard to under. He was one of those guys that was like misunderstood.
Ornery.
Yeah, but deep down he was a good guy, but he was like a
Yeah.
misunderstood kind of guy. You had to kind of get around his annoying stuff and I felt
Right.
like I was placed in his life, you know what I mean, at that time. And anyway, so I worked for him for a while, and I talked about a dream I'd had with him, like that I was on this job with him a few weeks back. So just recently, I had this dream that I was about to cross the street here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he was driving by, and like he noticed me, and he was like, "Hey," and like and I like looked down, and I was like, "Hey," and I'm like, "What are you doing here in Tulsa?" And
Mm-hmm.
then he couldn't stop. He was in traffic, and then that's like all I remember. It's like, why does this guy keep coming up? I mean, I worked for him for a few months. It wasn't like, you know, and
Hmm.
in one of my dreams I'd had it like the one I mentioned before. I like looked him up and found out he had been hit by a car or something like that and passed away.
Oh.
But then had a dream that I was working on the next job with him. So it was kind of a weird kind of a
Huh.
thing. So it's just kind of strange. But I just remember that right before we were going on the air, I had to run to the store, and I was like, wait a minute, I had a dream that I saw this guy that kind of reminded me of him. So
That's what I
synchronistically, I
find.
was reminded
Yeah.
of him. So
Do you find that's happening more lately where it's not like it's weird. What I'm noticing is flashes of stuff that I'm remembering during the day from my dreams. I'm not like waking up and remembering the whole scenarios, which is kind of odd too. It's like they come back in like these flashes all of a sudden, but it's like so real, like a memory, and it's very confusing for a moment because it's like, no, did that really happen or was that a dream? But it's like it just kind of comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden it's like you're right back in that moment watching that play out again. Like no matter what you were doing, it's like suddenly what you were doing just disappears, and you're back in that dream moment again, remembering this whole scenario that was you'd completely forgotten, but now it's just like you're right back in it again.
right,
I'm finding that happening a lot, and there's random things like random scenarios. It's really kind of weird how they come back.
right.
But I find that happening to me more and more. So it's weird when you ask me, like, do you remember any dreams or whatever? It's actually the process of remembering dreams lately has been unusual as opposed to the dreams themselves.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah,
Good.
sort of
Okay, good.
that meshing that we've sort of talked about. It's like that same type of thing where was that something I thought about? Was that something I dreamt about? Did that really happen? And it's sort of this blurring
Mm-hmm.
between what's real, what's in the mind, what
Yeah.
was I meditating about, and
Yeah.
so many things like that. Like I've been having even like meditations that were so deep that I like forgot what came to me during meditation later on, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had this whole thing about rabbit holes, and I was like, and oh my gosh, and I started remembering all this stuff. I need to start writing it down because it was almost as hard to remember as a dream. That's
Yeah.
how deep my meditations have been. Just listening intently, asking a question and just listening and feeling what comes to
That's
me.
it.
You know.
That's it. Yeah. Hmm. Well, it's interesting.
So I guess I need to start a new spot in my spiral notebook, one for dreams and one for
You know what? And
meditations or something.
this has been my cue this week. I've been getting those prompts too, and
That's
I
right.
got a new notebook, and I haven't even written in it yet. And look at it; it's nice. It's brand. I have so many. You know me and my notebooks, but I lost my last notebook in
Right.
Sedona.
That's
Uh,
right. Yeah. That
right,
sucks.
and but I've been doing it for years, but I haven't done it in a while. I haven't done it since I lost my notebook. So, but here we go. I got this one fresh, and I'm like, so all week it's coming to me. It's like, well, what do you want to say? It's as opposed to just write, as just sit down and write. So that's my prompt, I think, Shane, to start that new habit. Start writing again.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a confirmation for everybody. Yeah, Karen's been experiencing that too. So that's one of the things that's been like I've been the ability to sort of trust what's coming to me intuitively has increased too.
Oh yeah.
Instead of always questioning it, because gosh, it's got to be annoying to our higher team. You know what I mean? It's like, oh gosh, he's questioning it again. How many signs do we have to send?
Exactly.
But they will. They'll send you more signs. So if you need a confirmation, if you feel like you're getting something, say, give me a confirmation, and you'll get something to confirm what you already got. But things can move much faster if you can sort of trust it initially, and you can move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a classroom. We're all figuring it out, aren't we?
Yep. One day at a time.
Yeah. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. Oh, yeah. It's Prince's death date today. Did I already mention that?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So the purple rain, the diamonds and pearls, and 5D worlds. I'm just playing. Okay, so
it's interesting what's going on with celebrities right now and the amount of attention that they're getting. I think that's.
Are they healing up now? Are they coming back out as being cured and everything's fine, or what's going on with those? Are they disappearing still, or can you talk about it?
I would, yeah, no, you know what? Who knows? I'm not gonna. It's a lot of guessing, which I don't like, and I think sometimes things get set up so it makes you look, make you look crazy. Like there's real truth. There's real truth there, and sometimes things can be misdirected to make you look like a fool for speaking truth. So kind of have to be careful.
Yeah, well, that's what they'll do. They'll embed something in there that's like easily verifiably inaccurate. So then people throw out the whole thing with it. They can just add some misinformation with good information.
Exactly. So I just like to, observe and let it play out. Yeah. But I do think it's interesting the amount of notice it's getting. The fact that they took down the commercial, the Microsoft Abramovich commercial, and the amount of comments to see that taken down. I learned about
commercial.
Yeah. It's for virtual reality glasses, and
I didn't know.
it was all about her. She's a Satanist, and just to see the recognition from the population to like not tolerate it anymore, they had to take it down. Like the amount of dislikes.
Oh, is that the one that had? Okay, that's the one that had a crud load of thumbs downs on it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think David Wilcock mentioned that, didn't he? In his broadcast, maybe.
I didn't see his last. I didn't see his last one.
Okay,
so.
I think he had mentioned it. It's, I'm like watching so many different things at this point. It's
yeah.
I just all of it I just kind of set on the shelf, because you can really get bogged down. But that also makes it to where I guess you can add a little bit more credibility to certain things. I definitely anything that I get that sort of aligns with what I intuitively get, I give it more credibility, but everyone needs to do that for themselves. So I don't even really share like, hey, I think you should believe this because
it's really going to mean something to different people.
And it's a good time right now to set those differences aside for everyone, really, because right now everybody's waking up and really we all want the same things. We just want to go about it different ways.
And I think that's where the compassion really has to come back out to, as opposed to the anger over opposing, opinions. Hopefully it'll bring out the compassion, and realizing we need to do things differently. So maybe I need to approach this person with a different opinion differently. I think more people are seeing that too. We're seeing people wake up to the fact that we need to be having better conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess
with each other.
I guess I see, like, whether it's our human bodies or the religion or the culture or whatever it is that we're in, whatever we're sort of packaged as, as individuals, because
Mm-hmm.
we all have our packaging or whatever, it's still a vehicle all on the road to the same direction of a loving world. I mean, most people are on that road, is what I'm saying. There's only a
Mm-hmm.
small majority that's like, screw everybody, I want it all. That road is, what I'm saying. It's like most people want goodwill and abundance for everyone and good health and all of that. That's the majority of everyone. So we've got
Mm-hmm.
this thing licked. We just need to get everybody to stop fighting each other and just move along that road, right?
Yeah. I watched a really good little uh, video clip about the ego of thinking, you can save the world, and the
Yeah.
mentality of save the world, and the ego. George Carlin talked about that too. The ego of thinking you're going to save the world or save the earth.
Right.
Um, some interesting, concepts to that. And at one of the I'm not sure this gentleman's religion, but he had reached enlightenment or a state of enlightenment at one point. So um, definitely a meditating man. But it was interesting his take on it of I'm not going to get it right. You know what? I'll look at the video and share the link with you. You guys can take with it what you will, as opposed to my interpretation. Hmm.
Right.
Just some good ideas there in this sort of philosophy of thinking that you're going to save the world, and those people aren't usually healthy themselves. They haven't saved themselves. They're
Yeah.
not coming from a healthy, good place themselves. So them thinking that they can save the world is pretty ironic. And the depth of their own need for healing is often reflected in their overzealous approach to saving other people. Kind
Right.
of, yeah, some interesting ideas.
So I think right now, as far as the people in our group, I'd say Magenta Pixie's probably a good person to connect up with to hear her perspective on things, because it's sort of
Hmm.
a nice broad perspective, not really
Yeah.
getting pulled too. It's really the energetic, I guess, side of things, and it just, I think, would apply to our group a little bit more. But the other stuff is fun, no doubt.
Hmm. It is. Yeah, it is.
Just not to
Um,
get sucked in too far. It's like we
I
were
just,
saying, like
yeah.
walking through the fair, kind of observe and move along, and don't get too sucked in. You know.
But yeah, it's just so easy. Anything you throw out there, it's like a piranha tank right now. So I'm just kind of aware of that, right? And if I throw any kind of opinion or thought out there, in these waters right now, which are so murky, it's just like can be a feeding frenzy that don't really want to participate with. My thoughts are my thoughts, and about opinions or whatever about what may or may not be going on. So, but they're all just stories, and ultimately, I'm here for the energy experience, not for all the stories anymore. Um, yeah. So
Yeah,
that part
absolutely.
I have no problem. I have no problem sharing. That's what I want to focus on is frequency. So what I mean thinking about is not so much all these exterior stories, and it's like being in the inside of a washing machine right now, watching in the center of it, watching everything swirl around you. So really, I've been keeping it very, very, very simple of just focusing on my own cells, each individual cell, just being at a frequency of love, and what does that feel like, and what does that mean, and visualize that vibration and that healing and that frequency in different organs that I like tuning into my own body. Where do I need healing within my own body? Where do I sense restriction within me? Um, and how can I bring harmony to that? So, and the simplicity of just your own cell, because it's like I feel like it's a microcosm, like our own body. Each cell is like a representation of infinity. It's all these realities, right? And they're all kind of in disarray. And the more I bring each cell into this frequency. It's like bringing in another reality, maybe another timeline, another infinite reality into alignment, into that alignment which I want to be in.
Right.
So it's what's come to me is this sort of, again, like it started years ago with meditating, that it was just a drop in the bucket with each breath. And so what's come to me over the last week is, again, just focusing on the cells, and that really just one cell at a time, Michelle, just one cell at a time. Pick one cell in your body and choose and ask for, that it vibrates at that frequency of love, or its highest potential. And that with each breath that I'm taking in meditation, that's another cell, just like it's another drop in the bucket. Right. Sorry, guys. Zoe, no, come here. So it's another drop in the bucket. That's the best thing I can share with any of you guys, I think, as opposed to any opinions. It's not to say I don't have them. It's not to say I don't have the opinions or thoughts or those things, but it's a tricky place to be these days to put that stuff out there. Yeah.
I think it is a good idea now to sort of take a step back and let go of the expectations, because we all want to put our energy in the most potent, focused way, and if we let go of those expectations, then it's all just focused on the outcome, of this new 5D Earth, whatever it looks like.
Whatever it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
The highest probability timeline.
I can let God draw the picture this time.
Yeah.
He can draw the picture. Surprise me.
We're not able
to visualize. I love art anyways. I'm a big fan. It's good, right? I know whatever you make is going to be beautiful. So, yeah.
Well,
trying to pull out of those stories. And
let's see here. Let me check the chat really quick here. 41 minutes in. Is there anything else we need to talk about that we were supposed to talk about?
I can't think of anything. Schumann went crazy this week. I'm sure we've all been feeling it.
Yeah.
More dreams and some symptoms and those things. And I think, we'll keep it simple. I think I'll keep keeping it simple this week. Don't have many other words besides that. I'm sorry if I'm being a lame co-host, but.
Oh no, Bilbo's saying. No, we've got our audience here helping us out. Okay, so Bilbo's saying, I never miss Marina Jacoby's latest. Try to join their live Zoom meeting on Saturdays. See, I didn't even know that. The Harmonic Reactor is her channel. Awesome. So one of her well, she's probably done videos since then, but one of the last ones of hers that I saw, I thought I guess it was probably around the first of the month. So she had this talking about like 9 days of like 3 days of where you set your alarm on your phone to go off every 3 hours, just to remind you of seeing, like, what are you looking at? Are you watching the news? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you doing a high vibe thing or a low vibe thing? And then after 3 days, you drop it to 2 every 2 hours, and then every hour, I guess. I don't know if I made it that far, but I think that's the direction it was going.
Right.
So, but I thought that was cool, to really take note of, because and she was pointing this out, a lot of people are staying home. Like I'm a gamer, right? But I haven't touched it because I know I'll get sucked in, I'll just be playing video games the whole time, you know what I mean? Which it's fine if depending on what you're doing, you can be playing something that's more creative, but I typically play with my son. We play Fortnite, and there's a lot of, anger and stuff that can come up.
Right. Killing people.
A lot of aggravation and stuff. So even though you're like doing something that's fun, it is sort of low vibe. You're sitting there, you've got the anger going around when you lose, and then when you are on the hunt, it's still a low vibe. You're hunting something down to kill it, technically. It is a virtual world, but you're still, the mentality is there, right? Of a low vibe, take something out sort of mentality. Be the last man standing. Yeah. And then getting upset when you don't. So yeah, I thought that was I've steered clear of that. I think a fun one to play if you want to play a game is Slither.io. Have you ever played that?
No, what's that?
It's just you just go to that website Slither.io, and what I really like about it's a little worm, and you go around, you eat like glowing dots of rainbow orbs and stuff, right? So, and I was like, new earthworm, I'll usually name myself. Yeah. And then, but what I like about it is the biggest guy on the map can be taken out by the smallest guy in the map. So it's like
Right.
completely fair, you know, and you basically don't want to run into anything. You can run into yourself, but not anything else.
Right.
So anyway,
Wow.
yeah, so that's a fun one
Hmm.
that doesn't get me aggravated.
Well, I've been having fun with my village in Minecraft. It's pretty kick ass at this point, I have to
Yeah,
say.
that's a great example. That's actually a great example of one that even though you're stuck in your house, you're like your mind doesn't know the difference. It feels like you're out and exploring this landscape and stuff.
There's so much to
Even
do.
as square and
There's so
pixelated
much
as it
to
looks.
do. There's so much to do. Well, there's I like there's engineering, there's everything. You can, you can just create, or you can build contraptions that do things, or
But see, that kind of falls in the line of more of an art rather than. I guess there is like little things you got to run from. You can probably turn that off though, can't you?
well,
Can't you
yeah,
have
you
it
can
where?
just you can play on creative mode or survival mode. Sorry.
See, so
Or survival mode.
creative mode, isn't that more like doing art when you're doing it because you're creating something, you're building
Yeah, like
something.
so creative you have sorry guys, let me let her out. Hold on.
No problem. This is like a shameless plug for Minecraft. No, but I noticed Minecraft was a lot like the 3D programs I went to school to learn, where you're modeling things, animating things,
Sorry
same
about
type of
that.
thing, but just more of a game type style. I was explaining
Yeah.
the software I went to school to learn to do animation. It was so
Mm-hmm.
cool because it was completely like art. You could model within this 3D environment. So you basically start with primitive shapes and you begin to shape them into whatever
Yeah.
you're going to make. So that was part of the class as you learn to use all these editing tools. So you can just take a couple of
Yeah. Do you think that's
elongate.
what I like about it? Is you don't have to take like all the core like to build something to look like something or be something like actual structure that you can go into that functions and does something like to come up with that without having to learn how to program.
Yeah,
Like that's kind of fun. Like you can literally build worlds. Yeah, it's an open imagination realm. It's interesting to even think of. I've sort of been incorporating some of the sort of building or ideas from dreams that I've seen,
yeah,
and like how can you make that like representation in this world. There's so many different things you can play around with. So
yeah.
but yeah, it's the tricky part is there's creative. It's kind of interesting analogies in life too. There's creative mode, which is this unlimited supplies, right?
Right,
You
brain.
have unlimited resources, right. Sorry,
Right,
i
right,
get,
right,
I
right.
get giddy when I talk about Minecraft.
No, I love this because you've got creative mode that's right brain, and then you've got left brain, which is survival mode.
Survival, where you have to collect all the resources, right? And you're susceptible to things happening to you, right? And sorry, I keep saying that, guys.
So I
um
mean, listen at this archetype for our reality right now, because we've all been stuck in survival mode. Doing the daily grind, having to go to work and working out, and like, nah, no, everybody's not. I mean, some people are still working, but a great majority of the people that were stuck in survival mode, work, 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 pay bills, pay bills, pay bills, right, are now over in creative mode. What are they going to do over there? They're just sort of
yeah.
automatically put into creative mode. They got to get creative right now. They're stuck in their houses. They've got to
Well,
get creative.
there's an adjustment because with creative mode, there's no necessity to build components and engineering and devices or machines
You're just trying to collect
to
resources.
to collect resources. So it's weird that way. So I go back and forth between the two, but I actually play consistently in survival now. So because I built up, I like the engineering aspect though. I like the challenge of
Right.
figuring something out, of picking it apart and figuring out why it works and how to make it work
Right.
and understand the components and the engineering. My mind likes to wrestle with that.
Right.
So I get bored in creative mode. Right?
Hmm.
So interesting. Yeah, it's fun. If anyone who wants to play Minecraft with me, let me know.
You got to start a Minecraft channel.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You can start a realm where you can
Hey,
build
you
your
want a
own
million
realm.
subscribers? That's how you do it. You don't do it like
Yeah,
me
I was
doing it.
thinking. I was honestly thinking about the chance to step away from all the opinions and everything else and do something fun that I like to do. What do you like to do? Well, I like to play music and everything, and I like to do artistic stuff, and I like to play Minecraft. And I've been thinking about it. I mean, my skills have been getting up there where I'm like, okay, I could actually put together videos on that. Maybe. We'll see. It's fun right now. Mm-hmm.
Never have enough Minecraft videos because it's so limitless of what can be done, and you know.
There's so much.
Really is.
There's so much stuff. Yeah.
But what I really liked about it was, like, you know, going back to the whole Mandela effect and the messages I was getting in the Mandela effect about how we needed to get back to the feminine side. That's saying get back to creative mode. Do you see this whole connection with this whole thing? It's like amazing because it's the balance in there. It's not that you want to stay in creative mode all the time, because there is survival mode. You do have to pay bills and eat and survive. You know, there is. It's like the whole set of rainbow chakra colors, right? You've got the survival to the enlightened realm, and we've just neglected the balance in our life. And that's how the thinker went from thinking with his third eye to kind of just staring at the ground, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is all this huge epiphany. You're talking about these two modes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's right there. You know, it's like always right there, staring at you. Creative mode, survival
There's
mode.
so many analogies, and believe me, I've gone through them while playing the game.
Yeah.
That's why I started to giggle. There really is. I think, I suppose sometimes I think some will think it's foolish, the analogies, you know, getting that from a video game, but I've certainly seen them there, and I've also seen why it makes sense that I like to play this game.
Yeah.
And actually how it does benefit me. I see it from what I do in dreams. There's a lot to it for me, so it's playing a game, but I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It gets out my creative itch, and
And, you know, I saw lots of people in the gardening section, a lot of people planting stuff. I know Shiny was planting a bunch of stuff. So I was thinking, you know, if everybody planted stuff, you know, we could totally, just in no time, you know?
Yeah, we've got a few of we've got seeds on order. We ordered online, and heirloom seeds, so you can keep the seeds after.
Oh,
so, yeah. So we're I think it's a bit of a delay. I think we're still waiting for them. But, we thought it'd be good to do that. You know, I saw some posts about seeds not being essential items for sale and possibly not being able to buy them and stuff. So,
did you buy them from a Canadian seller, though?
Yes, bought them from a Canadian seller online, and they're heirloom.
Definitely want to do domestic nowadays for anything.
So we're really happy with that. Yeah. So we placed our order. I don't even know what time. Time's flying. But hopefully we'll get them soon. We got all the dirt. We got everything ready to go. So just waiting for the seeds to get here to start planting.
Awesome. Let's all send high vibe in 888. Some energy as she goes into her sessions today. Positive energy. Shine your love light today. Awesome. So I guess we can wrap this up, and
okay.
We'll be back next Tuesday.
Yeah. Hopefully I won't be babbling.
No, you did great. I'm glad you were here to talk.
Good. I like to spend time with you, so hopefully in some way you find us entertaining. Others find us entertaining, because we would do this anyways.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So
thanks, enjoy guys. Those energies, you guys, and lots of love, light, and unity. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome, bro. Love ya.
Be sure to check out the website at uotf.net. There you will find the live stream schedule displayed in your local time right there on the front page. Below that, you'll find links to take the Beyond Quantum Healing course at a discounted rate, purchase our book, Mandela Effect, Friend or Foe, in paperback or ebook, or to contact me to schedule a BQH session. At the top of the site, you'll find links to help support the work I do, access the free private forum where you can discuss organizing get-togethers in your area, Mandela effects, and more. Thank you all so much for being here.